I'm just a pro trying to make it. So come ride with me. Hi everyone, so I'm going to go over my routine of bathing my guys off. I'm going to bathe Harold off here after our workout today. He got sweaty and he does have a bit of a winter coat coming in, so I want to bathe him off to clean him up because I do want to body clip him because it is still a little warm out and he's getting a little too hot. So I'm getting everything ready for his wash, for his bath. I go ahead, I turn on the water and I start with their legs and I work my way up. It is not too warm outside today. It is, it's nice. It's in the 70s. So I want to make sure that I start with their legs and work their way up. I always give them warm water. So there I am tying up his tail because I put some nice smelly good conditioner in it and I don't want to rinse that out. But I start with the legs first to allow the water to warm up before I move up his body. I don't like cold showers, so I imagine he doesn't like cold showers. Well, I know he doesn't like cold showers. Sometimes at horse shows, it's just too chilly for him. So the water warmed up and I am now moving up his body and rinsing everything from his head to his tail off. So I want to make sure that I get all that sweat off. That is one thing that I always encourage riders, especially during the summer, after you're done riding, to hose them off. I know some people just have time to brush them off, but I encourage to hose them off just because over time I feel like that sweat and that salt starts to stain their coat and bleach their coat. So if we want to keep their coat nice and beautiful, I encourage to go ahead and hose your horses off. I mean, even in the winter, if you're capable of hosing them off and they'll stay warm and not chilly, or you don't get sick from it. But go ahead and hose them off. It really helps that coat from bleaching out. So you don't have to give them a bath. There's some people try not to give them a bath all the time just because they don't want to strip their oils from their coat, and I completely understand that. I probably bathe mine a lot. I just like to keep their coats clean and fungus free. So I'm giving them a bath all the time, and with him, I'm going to body clip him later today, so I'm going to give him a bath to make sure he's nice and clean. So I am right here. I am going to grab the iodine or betadine and spray their legs off. He got an infection one winter down in Florida, so now I'm like super anal about after they've been in the footing to make sure that they get their legs clean. Just from any little cuts and scratches. I think he has a little cut on one of his or it's like a little nick on one of his front legs. I want to make sure I clean that so we don't have any infection going on or any bacteria starting to grow. So I'm grabbing, this is starting to become one of my favorite shampoos right here. I like to try different shampoos to see how they do. I am actually really enjoying this one. It makes their coats so shiny and so smooth and so soft. It's become one of my favorites in the barn to use. I just prefer it over everything else. So I go ahead, I put some in the bucket here and I fill it up with water. I think you dilute so many ounces per gallons of water. So that's what I'm doing right here. Waiting, and I do that with warm water because again, I don't want to throw cold water all over their back. I want them to stay nice and comfortable. So I grab my sponge and I grab my leg brush. I have found that leg brush to be so helpful So I'm sudsing him up here on both sides, or this side right now. I kind of find myself, I do sections at a time. He doesn't like his face with any water on it. You can't spray him in the face. You can't, I mean, I can put shampoo on a sponge in a face, but I have to be, make sure there's not too much water so it doesn't run down his face, because he just really doesn't like it. So I am going ahead right here. I'm adding the water, and of course he had a poop. So I go ahead, I clean that up right away. I just can't stand it when they're like, if they move around or they step into it, it just spreads it everywhere. So I want to make sure I get that up out of the wash rack right away, just because it is a clean space, and I want his legs and his body to stay clean. I don't want any things splashing up and coming up back onto him after he's clean. So I just clean that up right away. That's my main thing in cross ties. If a horse poops, I clean up right away, just so they don't step into it. To me, it's just gross, and I don't want to have a hoof pick that out. I just want to make sure I get that out of the way, so it is an easier working space for both I and my rides. So I am doing that right now. After I clean this up, I will rinse out where he pooped in the wash rack, just to keep the wash rack clean, keep it clean for the guys in the barn. I don't think that's their job to clean up after us. We should clean up after ourselves. So I go ahead and I clean that up. They have so much other stuff that they're doing to take care of the horses. I don't want to add an extra thing for them to do. So right here, I grab my leg brush here. This brush is awesome. I actually have one that I use for washing, and then one I have in my grooming box. So I don't know if you can see the brand right here. I would say it for you, but I can't. It's, I believe, in German. But it's nice and shaped for the leg, so you can really get to the spots that all the other brushes really don't do well at getting. So I'm going right here because he has a bit of a hair. I'm going to actually use it over his body. And there I got his face a little bit. He wasn't happy, but he put up with me. So I'm going over his body because he does have a bit of a coat. I want to try to get deeper into that coat, into the skin, so that I am able to body clip him later today. So I wish I actually videoed me body clipping. It didn't take me very long. It took me probably about an hour to do. I'm not fast, and I'm not very good at body clipping. They kind of have lines and they look silly, but maybe this will help him not get so sweaty through our workouts through the day. But here he's allowing me with the sponge softly to get his face. I'm not allowing water to run down, and he's happy with that. So I'm getting the rest of his body here. Just adding the shampoo, going to the leg brush here. Just get everything to make clipping so much easier. There you go. But, I like to test different shampoos, and this shampoo right now has been working great for me, and I'll probably find something else down the road that I decide that I want to switch to. But this one's working great, and I really like it. So looks like he is now done. He's sudsed up. The shampoo sits on him for a little bit. This shampoo, you don't have to let it sit on him very long. It does its job. So still has warm water in the hose. So again, I start with the legs, work my way up, nice and warm. I go ahead and spray the rest of the body down. And I just really work on making sure that, when you hose them off, the water will be a little bit, have a discolor to it. It won't be that clear. It'll kind of have a little, dirty brown color to it. So I just spray them off until that color, it turns to clear. So we have clear, clean water running off of them. That tells me that I got everything and I cleaned them off really well. So that's what I'm doing right here. It's just making sure I get everything really good and really rinsed off for him. Avoiding that tail because I put that really nice, expensive, smelly conditioner detangler into it. And I did that before I rode. So I just really want to keep it in because I know it's such a good product that tomorrow when I go to take a brush to his tail, that it's going to brush through so nicely. It does last that long. So it's not cheap. It's expensive for a little bottle. So I just want to make sure I don't rinse that out. Just getting everything off. He's a good boy to bathe. My other guy likes to kind of wiggle back and forth. I mean, I guess he moves to the side that it makes it easier for me to work on. But Harold here, he just always stands there. Again, I got too close to his face there. He's like, nope, no, thank you. Got everything off, rinsed everything off. His whites are nice and clean. The great thing about the iodine or betadine or whatever you call that, when you put on the whites and you scrub them, it actually really cleans the white legs or the white spots on your horse. It turns them really white. So it's a little trick if you don't want to use any like Quicksilver for the white. That gets the horses clean and white on their white spots. So I rinsed off where he pooped to the drains. The guys don't have to do that. That's my job. But now I am here. I'm going to wash off the soap that I did put on his face with just a cloth. That's what he'll allow me to do. He is such a picky pony. But when I use a cloth, he loves it. He just likes to have that, rubbed behind his ears or where his brow band goes. All the marks where the bridle was at, I want to clean off. I like to get his nose to make it nice and clean here. And he actually really enjoys this part. It's not it's just damp. It's not super wet, so there's no water running down his face to make him grumpy. But he does like it. Here, he licks his lips because he actually really enjoys that. So now I'm just going to scrape all the extra water off here just to help him dry a little bit quicker. It's like, Mom, this routine, we do this routine a lot. Got to mix it up, I guess, a little bit. Maybe we'll use a different shampoo, but I just really like the shampoo that we've been using lately. I'm almost out of it, so I need to go to the tack store and get some more. That is one thing you don't want to go to is a tack store, because then you buy things you probably don't need. So, but I think here I went and so I usually, after I give him a bath, if I'm not body clipping him, because I don't want to put any more oil into his coat so I can't get the clippers through, but I like to put this horse moisturizer spray. It's like the pink spray all over him. You dilute it to water and you spray it all over. But I didn't do it this time. I was just showing you guys that's what I do. I just didn't do that because I wanted to body clip him. I didn't want anything to prevent from the clippers to not going through his coat. So I gave him a little sugar cube because he's always such a good boy. And I went and I grabbed a blanket. It's a moisture wicking blanket from Horsewear. I really actually like this blanket. A friend got me hooked onto these blankets. Like all my horses have these blankets now. They're sheets. They really just help. It's the moisture management Horsewear sheet. It just really helps them after like long workouts to cool down. It really just wicks the water away from them, and they dry so fast. It's a polyester, so that's what polyester does. Polyester is really good at wicking moisture away from things, I guess, and it will help them dry faster. So